if Donald Trump and Elon Musk do an actual audit on the Pentagon, actually cut 10%, I will wear a MAGA hat on the internet and whatever else you want. I'll streak. The United States government is based on fraud and abuse. We have a system of legalized bribery. Democrats are bought by special interests. Republicans are bought by special interests. Trump is bought by special interests. That is fraud by nature. Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up. It is really, really scary just seeing some of the posts we've seen. I'm going to go through a lot of the different agencies. There's a very big difference between politicians who are corrupt, right? Which are both Democrats and Republicans. Sorry, MAGA, including Donald Trump. Donald Trump literally got nearly $300 million from Elon Musk and has now handed him the government, has now handed over him and a bunch of teenagers who work with, I'm not exaggerating, teenagers who work with Elon Musk, access to the government. Donald Trump received $100 million from Miriam Adelson, a massive Zionist. And what has he done? What has he done? He's saying we're going to basically give the West Bank to Israel and we're going to expel the Palestinians. Donald Trump, you might as well stamp quid pro quo on his forehead. So MAGA, I'm sorry, you've been hoodwinked if you think Donald Trump is going to do a goddamn thing for you. And to the person who asked me, Jordan, do you really think they won't do an audit on the Pentagon? Save this video. If Donald Trump and Elon Musk do an actual audit on the Pentagon, okay, and Donald Trump and Elon Musk actually cut 10% of the Pentagon, I'll give you 10% of the Pentagon budget, I will wear a MAGA hat on the internet and whatever else you want. I'll streak. There is more chance that I'm going to have a six-pack by Thanksgiving that Donald Trump will cut 1% from the Pentagon budget. Do you know how I know that, Steve? Because Donald Trump raised the military budget every year he was in office. Because Donald Trump is not actually in power, just like Joe Biden was not actually in power. We live in a military-industrial complex which Dwight Eisenhower warned of. So if Donald Trump and the president, the real president, Elon Musk, were so interested in waste, fraud, abuse, they wouldn't be starting with USAID. They're only doing that because they're splicing in a culture war there. They wouldn't be starting with the Department of Education, which Republicans have wanted to get rid of for decades. They'd be starting with the $15 billion in free money we give to the fossil fuel industry every year, the billions we give to Wall Street, free money, the billions we give to the pharmaceutical industries, the billions we give to big agriculture subsidies, the billions we give, believe it or not, to Silicon Valley. This is all free money. It's all subsidies the U.S. government gives to corporate interests. You want to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse? You're looking at the Department of Education? And they would start with the military. Donald Trump didn't do this in his first term. Why do you think he's going to do it now? Donald Trump, who says, oh, we need to rebuild the military. What evidence do you have that Donald Trump is going to cut 1% from the military budget? And one second. And I also want to say, again, if you are a conservative-minded person and you genuinely think there's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse and cutting that is somehow going to benefit your life, okay, common sense. If, I don't know, if you were lucky enough that you got the keys to a Fortune 500 company, you think it would be smart, like the first month you take over the company, to lay off, if there's 10 divisions, lay off thousands of workers from each division in less than a month? You actually think in less than a month you can identify where your only people working with you are a bunch of 20-somethings and teenagers? You think you could actually identify where is the excess? Where is the fat? Where are the duplicative positions? Or do you think you might end up firing a lot of people that, oh shit, we just realized we really needed those people. Oh shit, we didn't even know how this department worked. In many cases, we don't even know what they did. This is meant to excite conservatives who have wanted to take a machete to the federal government for a long time, but it's not being done in any type of strategic, precise way. And to be clear, you could cut 20, 30%. You can cut 30% from every single government agency, okay? That will still not even go near the waste, fraud, and abuse of the United States government. You want to know why? Because the United States government is based on fraud and abuse. We have a system of legalized bribery. Democrats are bought by special interests. Republicans are bought by special interests. Trump is bought by special interests. That is fraud by nature. So I don't want to hear, oh, well, we cut X amount of employees from USAID, and we found that we were sending $50 billion in condoms to Gaza, even though that ended up being bullshit. Elon Musk just tweeted out some bullshit thing about how we were, there was like, they found 1,000, 150-year-olds who were still getting Social Security checks. That ended up being bullshit too. You want to know how you end up having all this fake lies and bullshit? When you come in and you implement the Silicon Valley mindset, which is just break shit and ask questions later on the federal government. So hey, get your popcorn. It might excite you just on the surface. Hey, they're cutting all these agencies, but you're cutting a lot of important positions, and there's real life consequences.
Well, first of all, because I understand economics, I watch dumb fucks that don't know economics sitting there saying, this should have been done forever ago. Thank God. Don't you think it's great? And it's because stupidity reigns supreme in this country. Every time you cut government spending, it doesn't just, it's first of all, let's get this out of the way. It isn't some leprechaun's tax dollars, okay? There is no tax dollars being spent here. These fucking morons that are so happy to see their neighbors get fired. I swear to God, I fucking hate them. I don't just wish they were smarter and understood more. I fucking hate them, okay? That's number one, because they're thinking they're saving time, but they're so excited about cutting waste, but they're giving Elon Musk $9 billion fucking dollars. But yeah, let's go ahead and cut some little shit down the street that needs to pay for their mortgage or pay for their fucking rent or get food for their family. I just despise these fucking disgraceful, disgusting human beings, because what they're doing is not benign. It's not just, oh, well, you have an opinion, I have an opinion. People are really fucking getting hurt. And I swear to God, it wouldn't be in any way, shape, or form out of the pale if those people that got hurt were to go ahead and react and take some of these fuckers out. I swear to God, I'm not advocating it. I'm saying watch out for it, because when desperate people start getting desperate, they do desperate things. And I'm telling you right now, the idiots that don't realize it's not taxpayer dollars, they think they're saving the government. There's wasteful spending. Every time the government spends money into the economy, one person's spending is another person's income. So every one of those people that shopped at your mom and pop's fucking breakfast stand, or went and bought electricity or paid for gas or bought their kids a book, that was income that they had that they spent into your pockets. But because people are so fucking hateful, so fucking stupid, they cheer it on. And I'm telling you right now, this country is so fucked because of that kind of sick, disgusting, like, I can't even call it human behavior. It's not even human behavior, what I'm seeing. It's some disgusting strain of disgrace. And if I were a parent and I saw my kids celebrating that shit, I swear to God, I would beat the taste out of their mouth. It's so, and if I saw a parent doing it, I'd probably do same, because people are going to die from this. Look, I have an MBA, means nothing, but for people that are into this shit, that means I understand business, okay? What I'm trying to tell you is there's nothing like a private sector company that is the federal government. The federal government, first of all, is not profit driven in any way, shape, or form. Number two, every one of those employees None of it's coming from your tax money. Not a penny of it is coming from your tax money. So what is the point? What is the purpose of causing so much pain and suffering on those people? The real problem is the idiots think that it's their tax dollars. That's number one. Until we eradicate and tell Nina Turner, please stop talking about your taxpayer money. Until we tell the others, stop talking about your fucking taxpayer money. These people are going to continue to think they're saving taxpayer money, and they're not. It's fundamentally not how the goddamn system works. The federal government, when it spends money into existence, it writes a bill, it writes a law, it hires someone. That money is then created out of thin air, just like Social Security. Your Social Security isn't even paid for by the money we put in. That is a skin in the game tax that pulls money out of the economy. It's merely put there for people to think, I paid into it. It doesn't actually exist. Once a government receives, it's like Sbarro's. Do you think Sbarro's is jonesing for 50-cent off coupons? Holy shit, we can't fund our pizza empire if we don't have more fucking 50-cent coupons that we create ourselves. This is the problem. People just think things and they say things and they don't care who gets hurt as long as their tax dollar doesn't get spent. Okay. Believe me, it's easy. It'd be so easy to point at Israel and say, all of our tax dollars are going to fund Israel, but it's not even happening that way. You haven't seen your taxes go up to fund any of the wars. You haven't seen your taxes go up to fund anything. In fact, in many ways, you've seen your taxes go down and the spending go up. Oh, but what about the national debt? The national debt is nothing but the net money supply. That's it. To a penny, the net money supply. So when money is taxed out, that's why it's not, oh, they just keep printing money. They literally tax money out of existence, spend new money into existence. The reason you are taxed, and it's only payable in US dollars. You cannot pay your taxes in shitcoin. You cannot pay your taxes in sexual favors. You can't pay your taxes in chicken necks or friggin' frog legs. You can only pay your taxes in US dollars. Why does the government that creates US dollars, the law, the patent, the unit of measure, the US dollar, why does it need you to pay taxes? Because it needs you to need that dollar so that it can provision itself, so it can buy things, so it can get your labor, so it can pay and have an economy in the country. And that's how it works. It doesn't go with the Ron Paul school. And by the way, I campaigned for Ron Paul back in 2009. What is it, around 2008 he was running? And then again in 2012, I was on the Ron Paul train. I've been in LOL Libertarian. So I know all the shit with Murray Rothbard and all the other idiots. Okay. I understand the appeal of Ayn Rand. I understand the appeal of, we got to get government out of our lives. Because trust me, this government is corrupt as fuck. You get no fight out of me. None. But you cutting spending doesn't help you a bit.
The job cuts amount to nearly 4% of the government's 2.3 million workers. That might not sound like a lot. It's a lot. That's a lot. And that number is going to go up from 4%. We could start with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which they have essentially, all but canceled. The agency is totally paused. They can't really do anything. Department of Education employees fired, put on leave. Those were about 60 probationary employees. Then you go down, Department of Energy job cuts include nuclear agency firings. We'll get to that more specifically. Department of Health and Human Services, CDC, National Institute of Health. That's great considering we have the worst flu season in 15 years and a bird flu. Department of Homeland Security, National Park Service, Veterans Affairs, which I'll get to in more detail. So, Republicans love their troops, but they just laid off 1,000 people who are supposed to, handle and treat the troops. Many of people who work in Veterans Affairs are veterans. EPA, General Services Administration, Internal Revenue Service, Small Business Administration, U.S. Forest Service. What's your overarching thoughts?
Just so you don't think this is just like an anti-Trump thing, because I really hate them all, right? Equally. I don't have any love for any of them. Okay. When you go back to the Bill Clinton era, Bill Clinton was lauded for his surplus, for his balanced budget going back in before Y2K. And what had happened? What happened was people, the only way you can get money in the economy is people taking out debt and loans or the federal government spending it, one or the other. That's it. All the money that's in the economy is either from you taking out a bank loan or from the government spending it into existence. And as of right now, 97% of it is private debt. Okay. Each of us have a certain amount that we're able to borrow. And then after that, you can't borrow anymore. So guess what? You're fucked. So back when Bill Clinton started slashing and burning with the reinventing government, okay, and he was working hand in glove with the Newt Gingriches of the world and the whole contract with America, Bill Clinton, a Democrat, handed George W. Bush, a Republican, handed him a recession. Why? Because when an idiot cuts spending, when a loser cuts spending, when a worthless fuck, an economically illiterate person cuts federal spending, what it does is it shrinks the economy. And then that cascades down to the state governments, and that cascades down to the local and municipal governments. And guess what that does? Then that touches onto the state pension plan. And then that starts dealing with the schools and the local school funding, which are based on zip codes. And then those people start drying up. And then guess what happens? The layoffs begin in mass, and not just in the government, now in the private sector. All because someone was too fucking stupid to take a minute and learn how macroeconomics works, learn how federal finance works before they have an opinion about what a grand idea it is to slash and burn the fucking government. The government is the currency issuer. We are currency users. Okay? The government, the federal government, by law, Article 1, Section 8 of your U.S. Constitution gives the Congress the power of the purse. It didn't give Elon Musk the power of the purse. And it's exactly what it's called. It's called austerity. And if you know me from Twitter, you know what my handle is. It's austerity is murder.